my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about Book of Night, Holly Black's latest release. This is her first adult novel, and I actually had an arc of this book, and I was hoping to be able to do my video before the book's release, or and release it the birthday of said book. However, I missed a release date for it. I mean, it was just released May 3rd, so it hasn't been out for a super long time. But I was hoping to do my arc review rather than, hey, the book is here. But it's fine. So I did get an arc of the book from NetGalley, and I liked it. I just wanted to see. Oh, I'm like, does it have... Let me go ahead and do what I always do, which is to read the quick publisher's synopsis of the book. And then I'll talk about how I read it and what my thoughts were. So from the book, Charlie Hall has never found a lock she couldn't pick, a book she couldn't steal, or a bad decision she wouldn't make. She spent half her life working for glomists, magicians who manipulate shadows to peer into locked rooms, strange people in their beds, or worse. Glomists guard their secrets greedily, creating an underground economy of grimoires. And to rob their fellow magicians, they need Charlie Hall. Now, she's trying to distance herself from her past mistakes, but bartending at a local dive, she's still entirely too close to the corrupt underbelly of the Berkshires. Not to mention that her sister, Posey, is desperate for magic, and that Charlie's shadowless and possibly soulless boyfriend Vince has been hiding things from her. When a terrible figure from her past returns, Charlie descends into a maelstrom of murder and lies. Determined to survive, she's up against a cast of doppelgangers, mercurial billionaires, glomists, and the people she loves best in the world, all trying to steal a secret that will give them a vast and terrible power. And this book was actually a fairly quick read. I think it was just over 300 pages, which, as an adult novel is not that long. This is a dark urban fantasy, so it's, has cityscape setting, but it's fantasy realm because there's the whole shadows people, and magic abilities and whatnot. So anyway, dark urban fantasy. It was a very fun romp. What I noticed most about this book is that I had trouble getting into it. So if you are a person that drops books very quickly, like within the first 50 pages, you may end up dropping this unless you vibe with some component of it. However, I would suggest you don't and continue reading it, because it picks up more and more and more as you go. And then you find yourself not wanting to stop reading it to try to piece everything together, or if you've pieced things, to see if you're right about said pieces. And that's what really happened with me. I struggled to really get into the book at first. I was like, no, okay. And again, I was reading an arc from NetGalley, so it was an ebook version. So I'm on my Kindle and I'm just tapping through the pages. And there was a good chunk where I'm like, I don't know. I was really worried because I usually like Holly Black's books, but I'm like, I don't know, was this a mistake? But then as it kept going, I wanted to figure out more, trying to figure out Vince and his story and what was happening there. Charlie herself is interesting, and the book is kind of interspersed with the current timeline, but then also memories of Charlie from her past, giving her backstory and how she became the person that she is, and the big people that are kind of the main villains in the piece. You have to get to know and know their impact all through the past of Charlie. So again, don't necessarily give up on this one if you don't get into it right away. Just keep going a little bit more, because it is a really quick book, and it's actually a quick read as well. It's very quick paced, so you should be able to move on. And just know that a lot of the things in the beginning, even if it's not that, I don't know, doesn't seem that interesting, or you're kind of just wondering where it's all going to piece together, if it seems too cloudy to you, just know that I think a lot of that is intentional, and also there are hidden clues and pieces that are of importance for later on in the narrative. So you do kind of have to just pay attention to what you're reading and just store it away and keep it as you're going forward with the narrative, because it's going to get a lot better, it's going to get a lot quicker, and just spiral into a fuller, like, sudden part of the story. I don't know how much to, like, give away beyond that. So you do know right away that Charlie has been involved in some not so perfect schemes since the time she was little, and she will go over again her development and why that became that way, and I don't know what else to say about it, but just her whole backstory and how she got involved in kind of the underworld more stuff, how she developed as a person, why she does what she does. You do get to see all that, and she's an interesting character for that. There's not much else to say about her. A lot of the book I was interested in the sister and what choices she was going to make and how it was going to impact the narrative, because she is kind of obsessed with magic, and the magic system of the book is pretty cool, and the whole thing with the shadows. And I think that did keep me interested, and so I could understand why Posey is kind of obsessed with that. But I was interested to see, like, how was that going to impact the narrative, and was she going to make, like, a big negative mistake that suddenly pulls Charlie in, or will it be something else? So Posey was an interesting figure into the narrative, and then, of course, Vince, the boyfriend, because why doesn't he have a shadow? What's his whole story? Like, he's very guarded. You don't get to see much of him. He seems like a fine character, very nice to Charlie, caring and protective and whatnot, but also a little bit dangerous and scary. So you did want Vince's backstory, and you do get it. I obviously won't give that away. So I do think she was successful in these characters that are intriguing characters. They're pretty well developed characters, especially for this, and I'm pretty sure there's hints that there will be another book from that ending, but it also is a good standalone. So if she doesn't return to this world, you're fine with just reading the book, but I could see her potentially returning to the world, and I'd kind of like to see that and how that develops, because it's kind of an interesting end development that, of course, I can't talk about. So we'll see, but I was a little like, okay, whoa. I wasn't expecting that. So I would be interested to see, like, what happens next in the world and where that all goes. Ooh. This is one story where I can't say, like, how the audiobook is, because I just read the ebook and now I have the regular book. I also can't remember what was exclusive about this edition. Like, I pre-ordered this. I think I might have even pre-ordered it before I started the arc. I pre-ordered this book, and I don't remember what the exclusive bits from Barnes & Noble is. Let me just check the back. Oh, maybe there's, like, a little bonus short story part, it looks like. So if you're interested in that, you can look for the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I don't know. I can't remember with them if Barnes & Noble has a limit or if they just keep selling them. So anyway, I got mine from Barnes & Noble. But there's the regular edition too that you can pick up anywhere. I think that's it. I would actually recommend this to fantasy fans, especially if you like dark fantasy and urban fantasy. I was trying to think of, like, the urban fantasy series I used to read that I think fans of that series will really like this one. And I'm like, I don't remember. The first book was, like, Dead Witch Walking. That's all I remember. But if you like that one, if you know what I'm talking about, and you like urban fantasy, you might like this one, because it's kind of that same, like, gritty urban fantasy feel. Yeah. And also, if you like Holly Black and you're I guess progressing age-wise in her stories, because she started with like middle grade and then she's done the teen books and now this is an adult. So if you're an adult reader of Holly Black, you might want to try her adult book. And that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.